Hello and welcome to this video on how to bring parents to the UK permanently, presented by Weskin Associates, your trusted immigration experts. Let's begin with the presentation. Family is very important to us at Weskin Associates, and every year we're contacted by hundreds of people that want to look after their parents or other family member and wish to bring them to the UK. The primary route to make this possible is known as the Adult Dependent Relative Visa. This visa allows your parent or other relative to live with you in the UK permanently. The definition of a relative can be seen on screen now, and please note that as a sponsor, you should be settled or British in most cases. The Adult Dependent Relative Visa can only be applied for from outside the UK, and if granted, will give your relative immediate settlement, meaning they become a permanent resident. Alternatively, if your relative is currently inside the UK, there is an option to apply on the private life grounds. The rules for this are very similar, however, the visa is issued for 2.5 years and requires the holder to spend 5 years in the UK prior to getting settlement. If your relative is in the UK, you should contact us immediately, as there may be an advantage applying from inside the UK. So let's look at the key requirements for the Adult Dependent Relative Visa. The requirements on the screen now are the most important and should all be met in order for a successful application to occur in most cases. Let's look at each requirement in more detail, however. For requirement A, we'll demonstrate that your relative requires long-term personal care. This means they can't perform everyday tasks such as washing, dressing, or cooking without assistance. It's important to gather expert medical reports to verify this, and our lawyers will help you navigate this. For requirement B, we'll show that the care they require is not practically available in their country of residence. This may be, for example, due to financial or psychological reasons. We will seek reports from experts and NGOs as to the availability of medical care in their country of residence and make an argument that it's not sufficient or affordable. For requirement C, we'll take a full overview of your family and demonstrate that there's no other relative that can look after them. Family dynamics can be complicated at the best of times. Even if there's another sibling, for example, living close to your parents, they may not be able to look after them. We will help you prove this with the aid of witness statements and reports. That way, you can show that your relative is best placed with you. And finally, for requirement D, we must demonstrate that you're able to adequately maintain and accommodate your relative in the UK. We will use declarations from yourself, including the evidence of finances of yourself and any other family members in the UK, to show that your relative will not become a burden on the state. So what if we're unable to meet all the requirements for dependency? Well, there's still a chance to have the application approved by arguing your right to private family life with your relative under the Human Rights Act. Several factors can be presented in the application to show that the refusal would be unjustifiably harsh and that the Home Office should exercise discretion and grant the visa. It's common for applicants to not meet all the requirements. However, with careful planning and gathering of evidence, a successful application is still possible. Moving on to the outcomes, as we already mentioned, the visa is granted on an indefinite status and takes circa 3 to 6 months to be decided. If the application is refused, however, then although this can be very disheartening, the good news is that unlike most visa categories, the Adult Dependent Relative Visa has a full right to appeal in the Immigration Tribunal. Appeals can take around 6 to 12 months to be completed. If your relative applied from inside the UK, then they can remain here until the decision is made. Although every case is different, generally speaking, if the case has been prepared by a diligent lawyer with the correct evidence, then there's a likely higher chance of success on appeal rather than the initial application. This is seen by the number of cases that are overturned by the Immigration Tribunal every year compared to those granted on the first occasion by the Home Office. And of course, Weskin will help you with your appeal, if necessary. Moving on now to the costs, please note that these fees are correct at the time of recording, but may have changed by the time you watch this video. In regards to our legal fees, we work with a fixed fee model. So there's no surprises, and you know exactly how much it will cost you after you speak to us. The fee depends on the complexity of your case, and in some cases, we can even give a no fee guarantee. Our payments broken down into 2 installments as you progress through the process with us, 50% to start, and the balance only once we submit the application. So what does our fee include? Well, the adult dependent visa is inherently complex due to its nature, and our lawyers understand the importance of family and how imperative it is to leave no stone unturned in preparing the strongest possible application. Our lawyers will fully project manage the application and will fight for you and your relative. In addition to the standard things you can expect from a lawyer, like filling in forms, communicating with the Home Office, the most important thing they will do is the document planning, because that's where the case is won. This includes, but not is limited to, providing you with a bespoke checklist of documents so you know exactly what to provide, drafting template letters and assisting with witness statements to support the application, arranging and assessing expert reports in regards to medical, psychological, financial, and socioeconomic factors, and finally, a detailed letter of representation in which your lawyer will argue your relative's case using legislation, case law, and human rights. During your initial meeting with your lawyer, they can provide you with more information and how we can help. Similarly, if the application has been refused, even if it was from another firm, our lawyers can assist you and have a proven track record of success in the immigration tribunal. So why wait any longer? Contact us today to have a free assessment call with our family immigration team. They will let you know if you qualify and give you a fee quote. We can then book you in for a free online meeting with the lawyer handling your case. You can ask any questions that you have, and we can help you understand the process in more detail. Within 24 hours of the meeting, the lawyer will send you a client care letter with the advice. And once you're ready to start, you can make the initial payment and we can start working immediately. So don't wait any longer. Contact Weskin Associates today and take the first step to bringing your family member to the UK.